Hi, so today we're going to talk about the weird and wonderful world of Mr. Thelonious Monk. We're going to talk about the funny chords, the plonks, the jangles, the crazy phrasing, and we're going to enlist a little bit of help from Mr. Peter Bernstein to talk about how we can put it on this thing. Everybody, welcome to Jazz Guitar Scrapbook. Please feel free to like and subscribe and get stuck in a revolving door. So the tune that we're going to focus on today is a very simple little song called Let's Cool One, but with a lot of complicated details. And the melody of Let's Cool One is very simple. It's almost like a nursery rhyme. There's two endings for the A section, and then the B section is kind of a blues thing. And then this bit. Hilariously simple. And then back to the A section melody. And you'll often find this with Monk. You'll have like a simple nursery rhyme, almost naive A section, something bluesy going on, and yet there's all this strangeness. We're going to talk about it in a second. Okay, the chords are basically very simple. It's 1, 2, 5, but this is an interesting little detail. We go boom, boom, boom. We go down chromatically, and then we get a jump to a G. So it's from D flat to G, and it's to F7. E flat again, right? So the structure of the A section is harmonically very simple. The B section is the same changes as Honeysuckle Rose, only in E flat. So it's 1 7, E flat 3 in this case, A flat 6 or A flat major 7th, F7 the 2 7, and 5 7, and back to the A section again. So the changes are dead simple, right? The only interesting thing is this little chromatic walk down, which is a little bit non-standard. Normally in Dixieland or swing harmony you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, land on the C7 on beat 1. Monk changes it slightly, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It's a similar idea, but that tritone movement adds an element of strangeness to the whole proceeding, right? Okay, so I would like to just quickly play that descending bass line with the melody. So what we get is contrary motion, which is when the two lines move in different directions. In this case, the treble goes upwards, the melody goes upwards, and the bass goes downwards. And we get some interesting clashes. It's kind of dissonant counterpoint. It's not the kind of counterpoint Bach would have had, for instance. Crazy. Right, already it sounds like Monk, right? You can just play the song like this. In fact, Adam Rogers' version on his album Sight is basically just this. But it's not how Monk played it. Monk put some arrangement details in there and some crazy chords. So I'm going to talk about that now. Now, Monk is an interesting character because a lot of people assume that he's very improvisational, but his music is very precise. He tends to play the same arrangement and again and again. And actually what's quite interesting is if you listen to the live quartet version, he actually uses this head arrangement to comp. And then when it comes to improvise, he's basically playing off the melody. Ethan Iverson, the pianist, goes as far to say that Monk is like classical music. You should play it note perfect, at least until you've completely internalized the arrangement. So in that spirit, we're going to have a look at my best interpretation of what Monk plays. If any of you, maybe, for instance, people from New York, spot some mistakes of what I'm doing, please put them in the comments below. I know you will. I'm aware that I'm on thin ice in this video, but this is what I hear. So we start with these dyads. So we're actually in the 7th of the chord. So it's kind of major 7th going to major 6th. Underneath it we put the 5th, which is the B flat. And you get that lovely major 2nd. And then we, instead of going to the expected like upper tone to match the F minor chord, the 5th of the F minor, C, we actually go down to the A flat to get the 3rd, which is nice. So a little bit of contrary motion there, again. And then with that note, we put in a tritone, so that's B natural there, which kind of gives us a B7 flat 9 chord in context. But if you just think about the counterpoint, it's this. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, which is quite interesting. I'll put it together with the melody. Lovely, all right? And then we have this line going up. And if we ignore the bass line, which I just played earlier, this thing. There's a little bit of contrary motion actually in the middle voices, as well as with the bass. And this kind of goes like this. Ba, boo, bee, ba. And then back to B flat again, right? So if we put that together with the melody, we get this. Which is nice. And we can flesh out the voicings a little bit more. I'll put that note in as well, the D flat. And an F in this one. And then we come to the big chord, and this is a nice or monkish sort of sound. It's a thirdless C7 flat 5 flat 9 chord, right? But you might also want to look at it as being this thing here, which is a F sharp triad or G flat triad in spread position, first inversion over a C bass. It's a crunchy chord. Pretty cool, I think. And then we put the F7 guide tones along with this. Quite tricky on guitar. Okay, so this is weird because this is B flat against F7. It's meant to be an avoid note if you take chord scale theory seriously. We get that, and then it goes with the octaves. We go bum bum bum. That's what I hear. It goes to a 4th at the end. Okay, this is all in the handout, by the way. This is all in a PDF. You can look at it. Just to recap, we've got this beautiful kind of weird contrary motion thing. And then this weird sort of F7 add 11. And then octaves apart from that last 4th. And then the same thing happens again. And a different ending. Okay? And there's loads of space there, by the way, between those two phrases, and on different versions, Monk might take a fill, or maybe the drums take a fill. B section. Now, quiet as it's kept, I think one of the most important sounds in Monk's sort of harmonic palette is actually the sus chord. And he plays this voicing. It's just a, you know, normally it'd be like major triad, but this is just a sus4, not even a 7th in there. I normally actually figure it like this, which is a crazy stretch, but I prefer that because then I can strum it, and it feels like it needs to be strummed. And then it's that blues thing, right? We get this beautiful thing, actually. It doesn't always play it, but I like it, which is this open voice triad, or spread voice triad. It's an F major in root position. And then again, jangly B flat over the F7. I mean, you could say it's I don't know, C minor 7 there, setting up the C7. But actually, the reason why I don't think it is because he then plays this voicing underneath it, a minor second, doubles the melody note and has an A underneath it. So it seems like he's thinking of like a kind of weird F7 with a B flat on top, which is kind of like what we had earlier with this. No. So this is very very distinctive of his harmonic language. And then again we get that tritone, and then this sus chord voicing. This is 7 sus 4. But it's got again that second on top. So we have a second here. Lots of dissonance, right? Obviously that's what Monk's known for. And then on the version I transcribed, he then doesn't always do this, but he has this emphatic, very straight across the beat, B7 sharp 11th, and that voicing that I'm playing as well also has a second on top as well. And this to me seems like the B flat sus 4 before going into B flat 7 flat 5. Now this is quite a, I would regard this as quite a Monk thing to do. So you're going to play minor 11th, going to 7 flat 5. And it's a sound that people like Peter Bernstein and Lage Lund embrace as well. Speaking of Peter Bernstein, let's talk about his arrangement. So he makes some changes to, I think, facilitate this tune on the guitar. It's not, the Monk arrangement I'm playing is not especially easy, right? He uses the shell voicing at the start, and he plays this same thing but with using the open G to give a very Monk sort of clash there between the open G and the A flat. Bernstein uses a lot of open string chords actually, very interesting open string chords that I will talk about at some point. This is the same. So he actually plays an E flat here, not a D, which is interesting. The rest of it is similar, but he fleshes these out into triads a little bit more, which are a bit easier to play on the guitar if you're strumming. This is C7 going up to the flat 9, root, flat 9 at the top, and then he does this. So it's a parallel second thing. Now this is a kind of like a C minor 11 with a flat 9 on top, you can imagine such a thing, but really it's a lower chromatic going to the C7, flat 5, flat 9 sound, but it's got this second in, which we didn't have with the Monk version. So, very Peter Bernstein-y sort of sound, but also, you know, recognisably Monk as well. And then this is the same, and then this beautiful open string cluster. What is that? This is A flat, B flat, B. So all together, you know, if you think about B bass, which is B flat bass, sorry, which is what we have there, B flat, A flat, B flat, so 7th root and then flat 9. So really it's just this, but clustered together. And then we have that, which is fairly conventional. And then he plays the tune in 4th, and he has that going on, if I can actually execute it cleanly. This is always tricky. He does it very easily, deceptively easy on the trio, but it's not easy to play. But this is all just parallel fourths, which I think is just a Peter Bernsteinism, really. I don't think I don't know how much Monk used those ideas. bridge. More conventional grip for E flat 7 sus. You do a blues bend because why not? And then he transposes this down an octave. Now this is a nice way to play an A flat 13 chord. Again, this is a very stark monk voicing. I'm not including the third. I'm just playing root, 7th, 13th. And he he doesn't even play the bass. The bass is playing the bass at that point. And then simpler voicing of that, a bit close to what we had for the A section. So he goes, plays top of the chord. That's the same, and he doesn't play all of that sus chord there. And then this happens, which is an E major chord over a B flat bass. You could also play it here, which is a bit like what we had in the original monk arrangement. That thing, right? And now it's more like this, you know, or close voiced. These are great voicings for alto dominance, by the way, very pungent. And monk always reach for these kind of flat 5 sounds. So even though Bernstein isn't playing the verbatim arrangement of the tune as played by Monk, he's using a lot of monkish spirit and ideas in there, and actually doesn't change it too much generally. Anyway, I hope you find it interesting. All that information is in a PDF, which I'll attach a link to in the description. Please like, subscribe, all the rest of it. Leave any comments below, and I'll see you on the next one.